That is a little bit of coaching there from her father.
He's got his fingers crossed. What does that mean, Marion?
That means she has to play on the wide from each side and not going to the middle. That's what it means.
Forehand return from Garcia. It was an excellent serve by Konta.
It's quite obvious.
So he was resting his chin on his hands, but he had a finger on his right hand and a finger on his left hand crossed in front of his chin, didn't he? Almost in front of his mouth.
Exactly.
And the signal very, very clear to a professional tennis player.
Not to me, though.
It's obviously a French thing.
What does that mean?
2-0 becomes 3-0 as Garcia misses the forehand cross-court.
Too good.
3-0, Miss Konta.
Not understood on the other side of the French-Belgian border, then.
No. Maybe just from my side.
All those times the coach was trying to get that message to you.
No, but I didn't want to worry about science, you know, before. Like, there's enough to think about and worry about out there, and let's just play and try to solve it yourself.
0-3 down Garcia in the tiebreak. Forehand return into the net, Konta.
3-1, Miss Konta.
Again of Caroline Garcia's dad not making a massive secret, Marion, that he is coaching her from the box.
It looked like he was just stretching himself out.
Frank, you know,
I think it's about brushing the ball when you kick it.
Come
Or
on.
spin on it.
I mean, that was so blatant. If she should be getting a warning for that. I mean, you know, we don't want to spoil the fun, but she should be getting a warning because that is blatant. That is not Nick Bollettieri scratching his nose at Andre Agassi back in the day. That anyway. 30-15, Garcia here. She's leading by 2-1 with a break of serve as Alice.
Question of coaching from the players' box. Marion and Kim listening downstairs. I mean, I don't know what the ruling is with that. And this is not sour grapes. I want to say this at this point. This is not sour grapes because the British player is not doing so well in the second set. But who actually monitors that kind of instruction from the players' box?
I think that's the job of the chair umpire to keep an eye on it, or somebody from the linesman who's maybe standing closest to that box. But I also don't think we need to over dramatize it. You know, there's a lot of coaches who communicate. Some just yell it out. Some do science. It's whatever makes them. But at the end of the day, the player still has to try and make it work. And so, you know, let's not over dramatize it. Like, okay, he's pretending that he's stretching his back out, but he's just telling her to hit a little bit more topspin on that serve. And I actually think he's right on that one.
I think it's quite a good point, though, you make, Ellie, because the umpire's got quite a lot on her plate.
Yeah, she's looking in a lot of different directions.
She's got to look wherever the ball goes. She's got to look. She's got to look at all the lines. How can she watch the coaches for the whole match, considering Garcia's coach is at the far end and Konta's coach is at the near end?
Well, that's why the coach is always cheating and coaching the players. That's probably why they're using that.
We'll pick this up again very, very shortly. We will also bring you Andy Murray against Benoit Paire, the very first set.
Russell, maybe you can answer this for me. When I was listening to that discussion about signals, hand signals coming from the box, effectively illegal in tennis, why can't a coach coach from the box? Why is that illegal in tennis?
Not allowed at the Grand Slams, but on the WTA Tour, Tony, it is allowed in terms of one coaching timeout per set, per player. So it's quite a common occurrence now. Some players don't like it at all, as Konta hits a forehand cross-court for a winner. But others embrace it, and they're allowed to bring their coaches on. The only trouble is, under the Grand Slam rules, you are not allowed to, which perhaps leaves you ill-prepared for a Grand Slam when you've suddenly got to think things out for yourself. But as Marion Bartley, eagle-eyed Marion, was telling you in the first set, it goes on all the time. And certain players and coaches will have hand signals that they can interpret. And it's something it's very difficult for the chair umpire to enforce. You do get warnings for players, but rarely is it taken any further. Good serve from Garcia. It's 30-all. And Konta won the first game of this deciding set to love, having nearly come back and forced perhaps a tie-break in the second set, recovering from 5-1 down, but losing that second set 6-4 to Caroline Garcia, who now has game point at 40-30.
30.
Russell, maybe they should just allow it.
That would be one way around it, wouldn't it?
Just allow it, and then the players, everybody can use it the way they want it. If the coach wants to do it for another player doesn't want to, that's totally up to them. But maybe just allow it.
I agree.
Game is Garcia.
Ace by Garcia.
New balls, please.
Still incredibly tight here on number 1 court.
Wang final set.
We're going to see that trialled in US Open qualifying later this year.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a coach that does like the fan when they write on the sort of big
Sign.
big signs?
Or text message.
Here you go. This is what you have to do. And just holding up.
I mean, it's almost impossible to control it unless they put the coach somewhere all the way up on top in the stadium where, the player doesn't see he or her like sit up there and so that there's no eye contact. But I think it's impossible to avoid it. So maybe just allow it to happen and then the players can choose whether they want to look at it or not.
I agree with you, Kim.
Maybe that's the way we are heading. We'll see how that goes at the US Open in qualifying and in the juniors a little bit later in the year. 1 game all, 4th round of Wimbledon. You had a